Number 2 on the Roper Report, the Nintendo Switch 2, as described by D-Brand. This is Jay Peters and Sean Hollister over at The Verge. Nintendo is inching ever closer to its promised deadline to reveal the Switch's successor before April 2025. But new leaks from case manufacturers appear to reveal exactly what the Nintendo's next console could look like, and a few notable upgrades it might have over the original Switch. We have images, apparently. We were inspired to write this article in the first place because of D-Brand's just announced Kill Switch 2 case. The website for the product features an in-motion render of the case and, inside, a mock-up of hardware that has some key differences from the Switch and Switch OLED. The new console appears to be larger, and it has a mysterious new second button on the right Joy-Con under the home button. Accessory leaks over the past several days have shown a similar potential design for the hardware. It seems D-Brand is reasonably confident in the case, but we asked CEO Adam Ijaz to be sure. He says D-Brand has, quote, actual dimensions, end quote, not an educated guess, based on a 3D scan of the real hardware. When we asked how he knows that, Ijaz only said, quote, nice try, Nintendo. Not getting me.
Hey, Barrett, can you do me a favor on the side?
You're not getting me, devil.
There's all those articles. The second one, can you Slack me that? I need to read that later. HDMI 2.2.
No, I saw Chris Ostertag complaining about this.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, he was not happy about the 2.2 over the weekend.
This is bad.
See, that was the news I saw.
This Switch stuff, like, all right, this is it, everybody. Like, we've now seen this exact same shape and dimensioned successor to the Nintendo Switch multiple times from different leaks, different accessory creators. Like, we know what we're looking at now. It's exciting.
Based on D-Brand's measurement, the next Switch, which we'll call the Switch 2, will both be larger and taller than Nintendo Switch OLED, but roughly the same thickness. Nintendo's spec sheet shows its previous handheld is 242 millimeters wide, 102 millimeters tall, and 13.9 millimeters thick, where iJazz says the Switch 2 should measure 270 millimeters wide, 116 millimeters tall, and 14 millimeters thick, with the console portion taking up 200 millimeters worth of that width. iJazz says it's his understanding that Joy-Cons are magnetically attached with an eject button that's on the back of the Joy-Cons near the top, and his new case takes advantage of the detachable controllers. He says the controller portion of D-Brand's case, which can detach with them inside. He doesn't know what the second square button is under the home button, which he says has a C printed on it. The left Joy-Con is D-Brand's Brand's mock-up still has the button of the left Joy-Con, which is where you'll find the capture button on the original Switch. So it's unclear if this C button now means capture or if both buttons work differently.
This GIF is fucking hilarious the longer it goes.
While it's highly unusual for an accessory maker to publicly reveal this much about a product from a powerful, litigious company like Nintendo, it's not surprising that D-Brand's the one stepping up to the plate. Having beef with console makers is an intentional part of its marketing strategy, and Nintendo is a frequent target. Like that Zelda skin that was the middle finger to Nintendo's lawyer, or the quote-unquote not Animal Crossing one. Much of what D-Brand is showing and what iJazz is saying lines up with a video from Switch Up showing what it calls a Switch 2 mock-up sent to them by a case manufacturer.
So yeah, this is one of those where there's smoke situations. I think this is exactly what the Switch 2 is going to end up looking like. And I'm here for it. Some of the cool things they were talking about, the Joy-Cons, it seems like because of the magnets, sounds like this tech is very impressive. And there's 2 buttons on the back to kind of release it, which I'm excited about because one of my bigger issues with the Nintendo Switch all the way up to the OLED is how loosey-goosey, thank you very much, the Joy-Cons eventually get. Even when we get brand new Joy-Cons, just the rails on the Switch itself kind of just feels a little loose. And like it for a handheld, I feel like there's a lot of like laying down, tweaking it around like to get comfortable. And it always feels like you're fighting against the machine. So I'm hoping that these magnets can kind of solve that. And in addition to that, the bigger size, I think, is going to go a long way. Like the Joy-Cons are serviceable for what they are, but I feel like just a little bit bigger. And there's a nice sweet spot to be able to like get the ergonomics right. And they're talking about better triggers as well, which I think is going to go a long way for more modern games. Having the Switch kind of be able to be able to stand up there with the PlayStations and Xboxes. Again, I think closer than we've seen since the PS2 generation with GameCube and Xbox. So I'm really excited for it.
How much longer do I have to wait?
I mean, at this point, all signs are pointing to January reveal. a couple months later. I think March, more blowout event, and then a May, June release. But
do you think they'll reveal it during our 10th anniversary stream, January 3rd?
I don't. On a Friday, I don't.
We could ask them.
We could ask them. Mr. Nintendo. I don't know that we want that, though, unless they do it here.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
It's part of our stream.
Well, we can start saying that it's going to happen.
We can start saying it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Anything's possible, right?
You're right. That'll get more eyes.
Yeah. Huh, okay. Well, I'm excited.
What I'm also excited about is
they're multiplying like gremlins.
Taki Udon, who is the guy that makes the OLED mods that I just did, my Switch Lite mod that I just did. He was saying that if there is no OLED version of the Switch 2, that he's going to make it a priority to get right on that. Thank God.
Wow, look at that.
I'm still holding out hope, though, that Nintendo's not going to fuck this up.
Nintendo's going to fuck this up. Samuel super chats and says, hey guys, 2 slightly off-topic questions. Fuck you, Samuel. You asked him early, but then the topic came to you. So there you go. Number 1, is there a reason we never got a Tears of the Kingdom spoiler cast? And number 2, why did the Switch 2 prediction gamescast never actually happen? All the love, Samuel.
Tears of the Kingdom spoiler cast was just tough because the Nintendo only gives us one code. And then one of us plays through the game, and then whoever else gets the Nintendo games, whenever they get it, they just usually buy it themselves at some point on their schedule. And then lining up all the people playing the game, beating the game, remembering what they played months ago to get a spoiler cast together, very difficult.
Yeah, if we don't have multiple things for an embargo, it's tough to have everyone on the same page.
So that's the reason. It's just simple scheduling and like how backed up that all gets. I will say, though, Barrett did an amazing...
I was going to say, we do have a Zelda Tears of the Kingdom spoiler cast. It's just hidden in review, Zelda in review, where I review and ranked every major Zelda game and added Tears of the Kingdom to the ranking and did a whole hefty breakdown of the story and all that stuff. So if you want something fun like that.
Barrett, I'm just telling you, don't wear hats. You look great in this. I mean, you don't look bad in a hat either, but I'm just saying, like.
No, I mean, I'm gonna pull this back up. No, like, I needed to shave my fucking
head. Look at this guy. I like this guy.
Time. It was time.
I like this guy.
What a cool step,
I also like this game. God, I think about Tears of the Kingdom all the fucking time. And Barrett, I think about that video a lot too. You really crushed it. So if you're looking for like actual good, in-depth kind of thinking about Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, Barrett did a great job as a spoiler cast. So check out Zelda in review. And then in terms of the Switch thing, it really is just kind of we're in this nebulous like on to the next. Like we thought it was going to be this year. I thought it was going to be this year, and now it kind of became clear it's not. So we're like, all right, cool. We can push back those predictions till later. And also, what happens a lot of kind of funny, including today, we have a plan for the week, and then James Gunn's like, hey, the Superman trailer comes out, so we need to kind of like juggle around some things, and we're always just trying to do whatever the best content is possible.
Yeah, if Nintendo's going to give us more runway for that, we'll take more runway for it. And I think then, again, what are your Switch 2 predictions makes a lot of sense 2 days before the Switch 2, we know it's happening, right? Like, there you go. It'll happen eventually. Don't worry, Nintendo fans.
This episode's brought to you by Heart Electric. Heart Electric is an upcoming 4-team arena shooter with a fresh twist. Outthink and outplay your opponents to ultimately come out on top in the battle for life-sustaining energy. Made by developers from the Battlefield series and Helldivers 2, Heart Electric is all about eliminating 3 other teams by dropping their energy to 0 while keeping your team's energy supply high. How you keep yourself in play is up to your own scheming. Take a direct approach and steal energy from other teams' bases, or complete assignments while staying out of the spotlight. When one team takes the lead, do you communicate with the other teams and form a temporary truce, or do you take advantage of the panic to launch a sneaky assault on the weakest link? Heart Electric's winter playtest is going down January 18th, starting at noon Eastern Time. Sign up through Steam to not miss the chance to try the next big FPS. Heart Electric. If you're ready to feel the pulse and beats the odds, jump into Heart Electric on January 18th. Visit bit.ly/HeartElectricKF to sign up and feel the pulse. Still Wakes the Deep is a first-person narrative horror game from the genre masters at the Chinese Room. Featuring an all-star cast of Scottish actors, it combines grounded storytelling with unknowable horror for a truly unique and terrifying adventure. Set at Christmas 1975, you play as Kaz McCleary, a family man running from the police by taking a job on the Baradi oil rig. But the holiday cheer turns to festive fear as something incomprehensible comes aboard and starts wiping out everything in its path. With your escape routes cut off and no way to contact the mainland, your only hope is to run and hide as you make your way across the collapsing rig. Navigate pitch black corridors, crawl through tight underwater spaces, and try not to make a sound during tense stealth sections. Whatever you are afraid of, Still Wakes the Deep has something that will freak you out. To celebrate the festive season, Still Wakes the Deep is currently 35% off on Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5. Buy today and add some horror to your holidays. This episode's brought to you by Aura Frames. Let's be honest, what most people really want for the holidays is to see their favorite people more often. That's why this year, the best gift that you can give, besides plane tickets, is an Aura digital picture frame. Aura Frames are incredibly smart and easy to use, allowing you to upload unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone to the frame. Plus, you can order the frame online and preload it with photos and videos using the Aura app, so it's ready to go right out of the box. Greg, Kevin, and a ton of people here at Kinda Funny are obsessed with their Aura frames. It takes about 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. That means you'll be able to easily add all of the photos of the new memories you make this holiday season. Save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames by using promo code KindaFunny at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code KindaFunny. This deal is exclusive to listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. auraframes.com, promo code KindaFunny. This episode's brought to you by Marvel Snap. Y'all know Marvel Snap completely took over my life when it burst on the scene 2 years ago. I love it so much that I even mentioned Marvel Snap in my own wedding vows, because to this day, my wife Gia is so obsessed that she has not missed a single day of completing her challenges. Marvel Snap is an award-winning collectible card game that combines deep strategy, a unique snapping mechanic, and your favorite Marvel characters with thousands of unique card art variants created by renowned artists to collect and use. New cards are released every week, new seasons every month, and frequent events keep the game fresh and exciting. Each game only takes about 3 minutes, so you can get in and out wherever you are. And with more than 270 cards in Marvel Snap with over 2,000 unique art variants, you'll always find some new fun. Art is central to Marvel Snap. They have partnered with over 300 renowned artists to create all of the unique art in the game, and it's always cool to see the new designs. Download the Marvel Snap app now, available on the App Store, Google Play, and Steam, or visit marvelsnap.com to learn more.
We're back with number 3, like the Dudley Boys. Capcom says it's working on reactivating other dormant IPs like Oni Musha and Okami.
Can I stop you right there?
I was going to say, you sure should.
I just want to let you know that all weekend, I got Oni Musha on the mind.
I'm sure you did.
Like most weekends. But this one was different. This one had a sense of victory to it. I rewatched that trailer like 15 times.
Yeah.
I am beside myself that this game's actually coming out.
How quickly did you show it to Gia?
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately, yeah.
Did she feign interest?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because she's heard about Oni Musha a long time.
Oh, yeah. She's heard me talking. But yeah. She's like, Tim, like, you are such a Tim. And I'm like, I know. I very much am. But yeah, it's wild that this is happening. It ending with the 2026. I like that. Like I feel like that gives me hope that we're actually going to see it in 2026. You know what I mean? Call that shot out there. Capcom's been so good.
I heard they already wrote their acceptance speech.
Exactly. God, if Oni Musha gets nominated for Game of the Year, if it's that good.
Can you imagine?
Oh, and it looks good, Greg. It looks really good. And Okami. Oh my God, Okami.
We go to Jordan Miller's reporting over at VGC. Capcom has said it's working on quote-unquote reactivating dormant IPs following the announcements of Oni Musha and Okami sequels this week. On Thursday, the Japanese development giant announced that it is developing a new entry in the Oni Musha franchise, the first in several years. The game, which is set to release in 2026, will be a new entry in one of the many Capcom franchises that fans have requested new games from for some time. Now, Capcom has said that it's working on bringing more legacy franchises back in modern forms. Quote, in addition to regularly releasing major new titles each year, Capcom is focusing on reactivating dormant IPs that haven't had a new title launch recently, a statement on the company's investor relations site says. The company is working to further enhance corporate value by leveraging its rich library of content, which includes reviving past IPs like the 2 titles announced above, in order to continuously produce highly efficient, high-quality titles, end quote.
What a concept. What a wild concept for a developer out there to say, in addition to regularly releasing major new titles, Capcom is also focusing on reactivating dormant IPs. It's like, yeah, let's do that. But let's only do that when we're in the place to do it correctly. And Capcom are there.
They've learned so much from Resident Evil.
Yeah. I mean, even Devil May Cry 5 coming back and being as good as it was and selling well, right? Like not breaking the records and stuff like Resident Evil did, like Monster Hunter did. Capcom is in the best spot it's ever been, and it now can go back and kind of pull out some things that have value to them that we haven't seen in a while. Oni Musha, Dino Crisis, Mega Man. Where's the boy?
Yeah,
he's gonna come eventually.
You have to. I mean, so right now, what do you think is number one on deck? We've got this down. What is the one that has to get? This is the next that has to get made.
I mean, the fact that we got Oni Musha and Okami.
Yeah,
though that's two of them. Holy crap! Like,
so next has to be Mega Man.
Let's just be real. Like, I want to have a conversation here because I don't want to sound more delusional than I actually am.
Okay, sure.
Like, I understand Oni Musha's place in the hierarchy of all of this. Like, I am not saying that Oni Musha
hierarchy of power in Capcom's universe has shifted.
Okami though was a little bit different. Like, there was a critical acclaim to Okami that Okami's like one of the greats. You know, Oni Musha I think was way more a place in time of it's a bygone era where you get 4 games a console generation of these sequels, what almost feels annualized. And Oni Musha very much in the, like, when you look at Oni Musha, even just 1 through 3, but you could also include 4 on that PS2, the games are so radically different, and you see them kind of expand from 1, which is very much just a small Resident Evil PS1 game, right?
Yeah.
Same exact style of survival horror, same exact control, same exact puzzles, like very, very similar. Then 2 expands that a bit. 3 completely opens up and plays a lot more similarly to Devil May Cry, like way more action focused, analog controls. And then 4 is a full on analog action game. Like, I feel like that franchise has evolved so much already. And all of the games, very, very good to great. But I don't think any of them were like, clearly none of them were as good as Resident Evil 4. For example, right?
Sure.
But I think, and even getting the remaster of 1 a couple years ago, it really kind of showed what Oni Musha 1 was, which was a very early PS2 game. If I remember correctly, it was one of the blue bottom PS2 games. Like, it was a CD.
Yeah.
The game is very short. It's like 4.5 hours to beat. And so there's a lot of room to grow. And then playing that in like 2019 when it re-released, I was kind of like, I love Oni Musha, but like, I don't know about this.
It's hard to justify this.
Seeing this trailer obviously makes me feel very differently, but like knowing what the RE engine has done, seeing the RE2, 3, 4 remakes, seeing what the RE engine could do for Devil May Cry 5, I have so much more hope there. Okami, I feel like, is the tougher one because that game is going to be compared to Okami.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. What do you think, and this is going to sound crazy, do you think for Okami there's a lot of people who, is Okami more a myth at this point? I feel like we always get in this thing where we grew up / was working at IGN when Okami's like popping off, right? So it's like, I remember Okami, and I remember the DS one where you're the pup. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I feel like current gamers, have they gone back and played Okami? And I know there's been re-releases and this and the other.
I mean, I think that that's a difficult question to answer because I think the answer is yes and no. I don't think that every single gamer ever is, but I do think that there is a big audience out there of people that are interested in video games past just like, I play what I like, but the ones that want to dive deeper and look back into history and be like, hey, I really do like Legend of Zelda. My first one was Breath of the Wild. I went back and I played some of the other games. What are other games like this? If you type in best games like Zelda, Okami's going to come up.
Yeah.
And they've done a good job, I think, of putting it out on different platforms and keeping up with it since its original release. So I do think that there's a knowledge of Okami, and when Jeff presents it like it's the second coming of Jesus, I think that also is going to add a lot more interest for people. That's good, though. You know,
of course.
That is something I do not want to undersell, is that Jeff positioned Okami 2 as the big deal that I wish that it would be to people, you know, and I feel like that's what shifts this. But yeah, Okami's definitely not the biggest franchise.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, no, it's just, I mean, sure, I want to make sure when we're talking about this, right? Like, I think it's an interesting starting point. It's something that obviously is going to get people excited. It was a great Game Awards announcement. It's going to be beautiful. Games are in a different place even than they were with the original Okami, right? Where I think a sequel to Okami that is gorgeous in art and doing all this and music is going to do so much better now than it would have been back then.
I mean, like, that is actually the crazy biggest question here, because you look at what Okami was emulating back in the day or paying homage to, and it was Ocarina of Time, right? This was a game coming out around Twilight Princess after Wind Waker. Like, it very much was in that vibe and style of a traditional Zelda 3D with dungeons. Then Breath of the Wild changed the Zelda game. Is Okami going to follow that too? Or is Okami going to kind of fill the gap that we've had
For classic Zelda?
for classic 3D dungeon style games, which would be, I think that's the move. And I think Capcom knows that's the move.
Okay.
Capcom's smart.
M. Night Shyamalan super chats, just like you can, to be part of the show, and says, do you think we could ever get a Mega Man-like Metroid Prime?
Yes.
What is Mega Man? What are they actually going to do when they finally say we're reinvigorating Mega Man and bringing him out? What is it going to be?
I think that it needs to be something like that. I think that Mega Man, we just saw this Oni Musha trailer compared to what the Oni Musha games used to be. I feel like that's what we need for Mega Man. Because if they just come out and it's Mega Man 12, or if they come out and it's a Mega Man that, like has like old school trappings, that's going to be very exciting to a lot of people. And I would rather that than not that. We've just had so much of that I think that it's time for Mega Man to have a bigger moment of like, oh, Mega Man is an IP that Capcom's going to look at as one of the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
And they can. It's Mega Man, one of the most known video game IPs, period, whether you've played one ever or not.
Sure. Okay. Do you think he's next?
I think he's next.
Yeah. He's got to be next.
Yeah. I think Dino Crisis is an easy one, too, to
people love dinosaurs.
Throw out there because people love dinosaurs, and I just think that the style of games like Resident Evil, Oni Musha, Dino Crisis, like they got it down. They're working on all those. So I think Dino Crisis will come eventually, but I think Mega Man is definitely the priority. There's also a ton of fighting games. I think that's an important thing to point out too. Like if they want more IP to go back to, Marvel vs. Capcom, if not that, Darkstalkers, if not that, any of the many, many, many fighting games that Capcom has access to for sequels. They've already done a great job in the last year and going forward of bringing back the classics, like just in like porting them over, but new fighting games, I think, is the next step.